we as coaches, as conscious coaches, have to coach our students through that mindset of like, we should have never been working the way that we were working before. Working hard and working ourselves into the ground are two different things. Hi, everyone. I'm Sid Charisse.
And I'm David Bosher.
And you're listening to Destroy the Hairdresser,
where we teach you to salon differently. After years of searching, we finally found a software that does it all. Introducing Aura Salonware. With Aura, you have the simple tools to streamline your business, such as a card on file, settings for hourly pricing, and even station sharing options. Implement communication boundaries with clients by interacting directly through Aura. Finally, a software that takes your business as seriously as you do. If you're interested in this type of profit maximization, visit aurasalonware.com/DTH to receive special discounts and promos.
As a hairdresser, I know the struggle of managing your back bar, and that's where our friends at SalonScale come to play. While you weigh your products with their app, SalonScale automatically tracks your products used, making inventory management a breeze. Not to mention, they also save your formula. They are a digital solution for back bar management, and they really make it easy. You know we're both big on knowing your numbers, and SalonScale does just that. Visit salonscale.com/DTH and use the code DTH10 at checkout for 10% off your first year.
For those of you that are watching the podcast, Sid cut off 10 inches of her hair, and she'd like everyone to know.
Who knows? It might be long again.
It's true, too. Oh, man. I feel like we haven't been in the studio for a while, but it's
only been 2 months. This is an earlier session than we normally do.
We have coach training coming up.
We have coach training this weekend, yeah.
So all of the coaches are flying in from all over the United States and Canada, and we're going to train them and get them ready for taking on more students since we've had, all of a sudden, everybody wants to work with us. I don't know what happened.
I love it.
It's great.
It's 102 degrees today.
It's 102 degrees.
So we're all the coaches are just going to like burn and sizzle together.
It's 102 degrees today in sunny Chicago, and I just got in and I'm exhausted. We're hyped up on coffee. And today we're going to be talking about the $372,000 hairdresser.
Do you know how much money that is?
Well, I was going to make it the $372,562 I don't know. I was going to make it some obscure number because we all as creatives round up and down. I mean, I think most people do, but I think especially as creatives, we're just like, oh, I made 100,000. Oh, I made 200,000.
Everything's exaggerated or minimized.
Right.
Like
there's
there's no middle ground. There's no truth.
But if you ask,
it's I have no money or I made so much money.
But if you ask hairdressers like how much they make, especially after hitting $100,000, they didn't make $100,000. They usually made $162,000, right? Or the person that makes $200,000 really made $245,000. If you're not making that much, then you got to work with a coach because you should be. But
it's absolutely possible.
I think there's this belief that hairdressers have about once I hit six figures, and by the way, six figures can mean $999,999, right? It's not just 100,000. I think kind of opening up the conversation to the fact that you can make six figures and it's not just 100,000.
Yeah. I also think that happens because once six figures happens, like they're actually profiting after taxes, after expenses, six figures. Nothing else really matters. That's why I said, do you know how much money that is? Because the reality is like that for an individual, maybe not for a family home. Also depends on the city you live in. But even in New York, we weren't making that. And when we started to really make money, it was still so great.
Right.
So like six figures, that's why I was like, I don't think people can wrap their heads around actually profiting and having in your bank account six figures, even on the smaller scale of 100,000.
Yeah, I would say half of my students have about $100,000 in savings, which is always
you're actually with our Future Proof students doing
I'm doing a challenge of building their savings, but a lot of them already have $100,000 in savings, and and to me that's a six-figure hairdresser.
Yeah,
not that I make six figures in revenue, but that I actually have six figures in my savings account.
Yeah,
that's mine.
That has always been something we've said. We've said it on stage so many times, like, if you only have like $1,000 in your savings account, you're a $1,000 hairdresser, because where that kind of
you're
stamp,
four figure.
Four figure, yeah. That stamp of wealth comes from what you have in investments and in savings. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to have $100,000 in your savings account. I mean, that's great if you do, but I honestly would you should be making money off of that or investing it. But I think something that happens is people be like, I'm a 6-figure hairdresser, but they only brought in $100K in revenue.
And took home 87.
It took home 60.
Yeah.
Let's be real with inflation and expenses and rents and horrible salons that are charging crazy commissions.
Yeah, and if you are in a commission salon, to even profit that, you would have to bring in over $250,000.
200 in revenue, for sure. If you're in a commission salon and you're bringing 200 in revenue, you are absolutely profiting.
And you should probably open a salon.
100K. And you should absolutely.
Yeah, if you're working for someone else and you're bringing that much cash, it's probably time to.
Yeah, that's a comfy, cozy life. I mean, we've actually worked with a lot of people in their early 20s that are bringing in that kind of money. And I think without a coach and without someone to guide you, like an accountant, a mentor, a financial advisor, it can get really, what's the word? Frivolous?
Yeah, you start.
Reactive.
Yeah, you get reactive with it. You start spending it. I mean, I don't even have to pretend that it's not this person or that person. There's so many stories of people that have made great money.
I've done it.
Yeah, because of a good season or a good year.
I was bopping all around New York City spending money.
Before COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, things like COVID happen or other things happen personally in our lives and we don't have it or we then have to spend a chunk of it. I'm not, it's funny talking to both of us because I'm not a saver. I'm a spender and Sid is a saver, not a spender, which is funny because you are a spender.
I am a spender.
But you are more a saver. And
I'm always looking at my money.
Yeah, you're
always.
Yeah.
Probably checked it 3 times since we've been sitting here. You
really?
Even know. No, I'm kidding.
I look at my
shows
bank
how much
account.
You don't look at me.
I maybe look at my bank account once a week.
Well, for some people, it causes them reactivity, even if there is wealth in there, because it's just
Have you ever seen those ads where like Chase or Wells Fargo and they want you to sign up for a bank account and it's it shows the person's bank account, it's $23,000 in savings. I'm like, that is not a normal person's bank account. Who are they advertising to? But I always look at averages, and I believe currently, and someone's gonna probably correct me through DMs.
I don't know. By the time this comes out, it might be a different statistic.
The average American has less than $5,000 in savings.
Yes, no, that is true. Because I'm teaching an economic class coming up, and I was looking at those numbers. So
less than $5,000 in their savings. The
and
average
that's
American.
actually not awful.
If you have a family of four,
no, for an individual, I'm talking.
For an individual, no. But I think that's a crazy number, and I know that we can blame the economy and we can blame whatever. But I also think there's this level of unlocking the idea that you can make over $100,000. I think even in other industries, it's you make $100,000 and after that, it's I make $100,000. Oh, what do you really make? I make 120.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's almost like those extra thousands.
But then when you hit 200, then you really emphasize
Yeah, we have benchmarks, especially as a Western culture. I think it's 100,000 and then you don't really talk about it until 250.
Yeah.
And then after 250, you might not even talk about it until $1 million.
Mm-hmm. And
we forget that we can live somewhere in the middle, especially if I own a business, right? Mm-hmm. I can live somewhere and profit in the 400,000s or the 600,000s or and it's just always funny to me because I have a few students that they are profiting in the 600,000 realm, right? Yeah. And then a lot of it goes back into the business, whatever. But they profit that, and because it's not $1 million, even though it's more than they've ever made, because it's not 1 million, they don't feel good about it.
Yeah. That's so sad too.
But it's that's what hairdressers, we're always trying to get to this imaginary number, and then we hit it, and then we're well, it's, and then when they hit $1 million, they're well, it's not 2 million.
Yeah.
There's never
nothing's good enough.
A layer of satisfaction. But, I think the whole movement in our industry about 6-figure hairdressers, I think that was really helpful.
I think it really was. I mean, even for me as a young stylist at the time when that became a whole movement, I was what? I want that.
It wasn't possible.
Yeah.
That was what? When I was...
Who started that? Was it Harry
A little
Wood?
less than 20 years ago. Harry Wood, Harry
I think
Wood.
so. I might be making this all up.
I took his course.
Yeah.
I think it was called Six Figure Hairdresser.
I think so too.
And it had
That's
a
what I'm trying to remember.
little notebook and it had a DVD set.
Yes.
So I took that. And then there's some other ones now that I can't think of that some people have taken.
I mean, it's in everyone's verbiage if you're a business coach.
Right.
I'm sure.
But I want our verbiage to be the $372,586,000 or $100 hairdresser. I can't even say the numbers. That's probably why people round up.
Yeah, because I also think there's this level of you do hit a wall as an individual. Not saying that you couldn't make that money. You would have to charge a lot of money.
You mean like with the people in our comments that like, you could never make that as a hairdresser? We're like, yeah, open a business.
Open a business. You absolutely could. Eventually, in order to make that kind of wealth, which is completely possible, and we have so many salon owners that are hitting beyond that number in wealth, in profit, in revenues, you have to invest in other people. You have to hire people into your business. That is the only way, unless you're charging like $1,000 an hour, which is fine. That's also possible.
Even then, you have to be booked.
But if you're not willing to do it,
if you booked out,
yeah,
charging that. And now a word from our sponsors.
We have partnered with Hair Story, a product line that is good for our clients, our planet, and our bank account. Have you heard of New Wash? It's like a shampoo, but actually good for your hair. New Wash is a cleansing cream that cleans and conditions without the harsh foams and damaging detergents found in traditional shampoos. Hair Story does things differently, creating more conscious options that respect the environment and your hair ecosystem. Ready to try New Wash for free? Visit hairstory.com/DTH to get pro access today.
Do you think people are afraid to make
Money
more than a
scares
certain amount of people? Like, I think everyone has a threshold.
Yeah, I think because then it starts to get scary that you have more to lose. Like, I think when people are living paycheck to paycheck and things are on a smaller scale, there's always like I have to do this, I have to do this. That's why I think a lot of people in our program, they instantly start making more money because we really look at their finances, we look at their expenses, we look at everything out we throw it all out on the table. And we figure out their hourly rate based on the profits that they want to make, how they work, how much they work, and their expenses, right? So we're including everything in that. And then they start to make money. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, I'm not working as much. I'm making more money. And then we start to panic because we're not doing the hairdresser hustle.
That should be a TikTok dance.
Do the hustle.
Can you
I
do
legally
it?
say that? We don't own the rights to that song.
You could say do the hustle.
I sang it though.
Hustle. It's less than 6 words. I think there's a rule about that. But
yeah, the hairdresser hustle, and then they start to panic. And so we as coaches, as conscious coaches, have to coach our students through that mindset of like, we should have never been working the way that we were working before. Working hard and working ourselves into the ground are two different things. You can work hard and also not be in a hustle mindset. So
I love working.
I love working too. I also have to set very clear boundaries with myself, which is a lot of restriction to not work on the weekends because it will, my psyche, or not work after certain times. And working for a hairdresser nowadays is not just doing hair. We are running businesses. We have our whole back end, whether you're an individual or a salon owner. We have social media, which is a whole freaking job,
Yeah, I don't, the social media thing I think has allowed hairdressers to grow their income, and certain generations like millennials and Gen X were very overwhelmed by social media because of its limitlessness.
Yeah.
And then you have these young kids that are like coming out of school and starting at salons, and they don't want to do an apprentice program, which I don't blame you.
Yeah.
They don't want to wait their turn or pay their dues, which I don't blame you. And when they go out there, they're kind of ready. And I know some people are like, no, these hairdressers
They have to do this. No, like
educated.
let them go.
I'm like, they've been watching YouTube, they've been watching TikTok, they've been cutting their friends' hair at home, they've been playing with more chemicals than we were able to play with because they sell it at Sally's and they sell it at CVS. Like, I'm not saying that they learned traditionally, but they've been active in hair longer than we have before school. And I think it's really cool. And I think they use social media and they're like, oh no, I'm going to make $100,000 my first year of doing
confidence
hair.
is so inspiring.
I love it.
Let them go. Like, salon owners, stop hindering these people that come in and have that confidence, like, because you don't have that confidence. Instead, be like, I couldn't do it, but I'm going to give you the chance to show me what you got. you're still in charge as a salon owner. If they can't live up to that expectation, you can coach them or you can let them go. Those are your options.
It's always surprising to me when I meet a salon owner who is upset that they're...
That someone wants to charge more than them?
Yes.
I'm like, that hurts your business. Your ego right now is fully hurting your business.
Like, they'll say things like, well, they want to charge this, but I don't even charge that. I'm like, that's okay.
And we're not seeing that that's a problem? Or it's okay. Yeah. Both options.
Yeah. One, you probably should be charging more. And two, they should not have to pay for your lack of growth. Yeah. And you make money when they make money. So why wouldn't you want them to make more? It's just really interesting to me. But I think the concepts of like, I think that breaks that 6-figure rule too. Like, well, I don't even make 6 figures. And I hear a lot of salon owners.
But why not? Yeah.
And I hear a lot of salon owners that'll be like, oh yeah, I don't, my team made more than me. And they're like mad about it. And I'm like, well, there's two things
you do
here.
know if your team made more than you, your salon's probably profiting and you shouldn't be
the
doing
salon
here.
Something's going on here.
Yeah.
Like, but it's just interesting to me that salon owners will do that and that people will think about money in that way. And I want people to break through the concept that 6 figures is $100,000. Mm-hmm. 6 figures is anything up into
$1 million.
$1 million. And there's a whole journey and there's a whole world within there. And I think if we don't talk about it, we don't think it exists. Even like politics and economics now, it's like there's the poor and the rich. Mm-hmm. Like we don't even want to talk about the middle class is hurting. Yeah, but there's still a
whole
giant
journey.
Middle class.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's difficult is not what I'm saying, because it is difficult in the middle class. Even our company is a company
we're still a small company.
We're a small company.
We're still growing.
We pay the highest taxes because we're in that middle tax bracket. But it's like people like kind of forget that there's this whole other realm. And I think if we just remember that 100,000 is not where it ends and $1 million isn't where it starts.
Yeah. That
there's something in the middle. And I always celebrate like when I hear my team like, oh, we brought in, this year $468,000. I'm like, I'll say like, that's amazing. They're like, yeah, I wish it was $1 million. It's like $468,000 is really good.
Don't shit on your success. They're like, yeah, I got to take home a $14,000 profit this month for myself. And the salon still profited.
And then they'll follow it up like this, but it was really slow.
But it was, or got to do better now. It's like, give yourself a beat to live in your
or they'll say
accomplishments.
Oh, so-and-so quit. And I'm like, how much did you bring in? Oh, we brought in the most we've ever brought in. I'm like, where's the missing like link here that people are starting to appreciate it? But anyways, that's all I have to say about that. My $372,000 hairdresser concept.
Next time on Destroy the Hairdresser, the podcast. In our industry, posting that you're hiring it's kind of an ick.
Kind of.
It is an ick.
It means
so hairstylists are like,
goes, why
are you so desperate to hire?
Right.